All right, welcome back. I am currently working on wiring a wiring harness kit to a double DIN head unit. This head unit was previously installed in my 2015 Forester. I pulled it out and had a better head unit installed professionally because I wanted it to just work properly. I needed it for travel, and the one that I bought on Amazon, I'll do a separate review on this guy. It just wasn't really cutting it. Not the best thing in the world. It was a $200 head unit. It has lots and lots of features, but we'll go into that another time. Anyway, I'm getting ready to install this in a 2006 Dodge Ram 1-ton that I just purchased, and the reason for that is the head unit that was in that truck didn't function at all. It barely got radio reception from a city that's 200 miles away from me, and it wasn't that big of a deal. I got the truck for a good enough price. Anyway, long story short, I've already done a sort of a review on this unit here, and this is specific for my vehicle, a number of other vehicles, but specific for my vehicle, and I have not done a review on this yet as of doing this video now, but this is another component that they told me was necessary, and again, you can obviously see antenna adapter, so, well, yeah, we'll just go ahead and pop this guy open right now, why not? And while I'm working on this, if you have any comments or questions, please let me know. Put them down in the comments section. I do my best to get to each and every one of those. I like to hear from people for ideas on things to do with my channel. I also like to learn from other people that have worked on similar things to this. But this is a universal unit, has a number of different connections. They told me that this was necessary for this project, which I don't doubt that for a second. And in the packaging, there you go. Goes to a whole mess of different things. Tells you, please read before starting. But yeah, we'll get into that later. Anyway, what I really wanted to do this video on, the purpose of this video actually, was to show the temporary wiring that I want to do with this wiring harness to this wiring harness, because so far everything that I've ever watched on YouTube, and maybe I haven't found the right stuff, but everything I've ever watched just shows from start to finish, they only show, hey look, I have two wiring harnesses, and then oh, magically it's all soldered together. I'm not going to do that to you. I am going to do temporary connections, because this is the first time I've ever done this on my own. I'm going to do temporary connections, and I'm going to then plug everything in and test. So this is probably going to be a multi-part video. I don't have very good video editing software right now. I'm working on that, but hopefully this is useful. If you look at the tags that these come with, accessory output, illumination, ground 12 volt. This one is unlabeled. Let's see, we have a bunch of these that are unlabeled, and they're just colored wires. And this is the reason why I'm doing this, is because you should be able to, let's see, yeah, so that's the ground 12 volt, this is the battery 12 volt positive. You should be able to just match colors. In this case, some of these do work that way. This is poorly labeled, in, and I can't remember exactly. It's either Korean or Vietnamese, but very poorly labeled, and it just says B plus on this one, so I'm assuming battery plus. But the colors match, so that gives me a little bit more hope. And that's the way that we're going to kind of tackle this. But that's what I wanted to show you, was it is okay to do temporary connections. These do come pre-stripped. It is okay to do temporary connections to test. And, you know, these connections might just make it forever. Who knows? I'm not going to say that they would. I'm not going to say that they wouldn't. Let's see, illumination. All right, and that matches up to this guy, ILL illumination. So just pull off that little pre-stripped piece. So you guys get the point how this works. Just put your wires together and then start twisting. What I am going to say is, if this functions, I'm going to leave it temporary for a little while, because it's fairly simple for me to get the bezel out of my dash. See, accessory, and it's red, and sure enough, accessory output. So I'm going to make sure that everything functions properly. I'm not going to give it a 2-second, oh look, all the lights turn on and all the flashy bits flash and all the beepy bits beep. I'm going to give it, you know, a couple of weeks with these temporary connections, and then decide if I need to change anything. Ground, and that's my ground negative, 12-volt negative. And then we start getting into a nice big mess of wires. So we're just gonna rotate this whole thing this away. Now you start getting into some kind of a mess. You have like green with a black stripe and solid green. Well, in this harness, that would be my green with a black stripe. So I'm going to match those two together. And just twist those guys together. And my solid green. Now, I don't remember if I said this or not, but I imagine that wires matching colors is not always going to be the case. Again, that's why I'm doing this. I do have the instructions here, but I'm a little bit impatient, I'll be honest. I'm going to make all these connections. I'm not necessarily going to just hope for the best, but I am going to make all these connections, and then I'll read through the instructions to see if I missed anything. All right, what do I have here? That's my purple with black stripe. Here's my purple with black stripe, and this does kind of get to being a mess, so be patient, take your time. No, those guys just don't want to stay together. Oh man, yeah, these ones really don't want to stay together. Alright, see if we can fish that purple guy out again. There we go. And look at that mess. It's ridiculous. I'm going to want to clean this up with soldered joints and heat shrink just for my own sanity. That is horrific. All right, so white with black. White with black. And we're almost done. Solid white, solid white. And we'll go over some of these other tags because a lot of these from my radio wire, the head unit wiring harness, are labeled actually quite nicely. So now what do we have left? We have, looks like a couple of different grays. Looks like a solid gray and a gray with black. Pull those guys around underneath here. Solid gray and a gray with black. Checks out. Cool. There's my gray with black. And solid gray. You believe that? How lucky. Dumped out my wire nuts and ended up with exactly as I needed. That's pretty cool. Exactly as many as I needed. Now I have these guys left over, and these, I think, I'm reasonably certain, are going to be connected with these, and this should be my steering wheel control compatibility, whatever, and yeah, that's what this unit is for. So once I get these connected, then this will plug into that side, and then from this other harness it'll plug into this side of there, maybe. Yep, that's what it looks like. So those plug in like so, and that's for me to be able to maintain my steering wheel controls, which is a handy feature. That was something that I completely lost, at least with the wiring harness that I purchased for the Subaru for that head unit. Completely lost all that. And then let's see, this is again just for my radio, so we'll get to that. But I hope that at least was somewhat helpful. I hope it at least illustrates how simple this can be. You do not need to nerd over this. You don't need to worry about this. If you make something wrong and you're using temporary connections, so what? Just as long as you don't, put ground to positive or positive to ground and then fry something, make sure you pay attention to your positive and your ground. Miswiring speakers, oh darn it, that's just too bad. I mentioned I was going to show you some of these. That's what I think they are, is like speaker positive and ground. So this, I think FL plus is front left positive, and then this one that's been heat shrunk is FR minus. So again, front right negative, and they'll correspond. Green and then green with black are a pair. Yeah, so let's see, rear left positive and so on. So I hope that was helpful. I hope I can show you just how simple this can be. In another video, I'll show my actual testing plugging this in, seeing what works, what doesn't. But prior to that, I'm going to read this, and if I have to change anything on this wiring harness, then I will definitely let you know. So stay tuned. I hope this has been useful. I hope somebody gets some help out of these videos, and my goal is to just keep other people from making the same mistakes that I have, or answer questions that I've had that I can't find the answers to on YouTube or on forums, or at least I can't find them in ways that make much sense to me. So I'm just doing this trial and error. That's just the best way that I learn anyway, and I also learn best from being able to watch other people do these things. So stay tuned. If you like this content, give me a thumbs up. I don't know what that does for me exactly. I'm new to this YouTube thing. I'm sure it helps in some way. Subscribe down below, and they've changed the way that the bell icons work, so make sure you change the setting on the bell icon so you get notifications of my new videos if you want them. And if you don't, you can always change that setting. Pretty simple. And thanks a lot for joining me. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a good day, and I hope to see you on the next one.